And I mean, Bigambo, speaking of this, very deep ethnic divide that has been entrenched into Kenyans, especially when it comes to voting, would it be the same situation you would say Onyango Oloo finds himself in? Because lots of leaders across the divide say his move from Jubilee to ODM came because he needed political relevance, and he had to move, like Wede says, to a person from the same region.
Well, of course, I cannot blame Council Wede. Neither can I blame Onyango Oloo. Because all these are manifestations of what is actually within the person. Because in the end, you realize that, yes, some politicians have always come up with this cockeyed idea that it is better to go back home. Like even Onyango Oloo has said ably that he's just gone back home. Trouble with going back home, as we know also across history, is that chicken have a way of coming home to roost. And when they roost, it's never for the good measure. Now, look at it this way, that it is, unkind, for lack of a better word, to exploit the ignorance of the people and the gulf in their mind and expectations to say that leaders, and for the reason that you're called a leader, leaders are directed, are manipulated by the whims and aspirations of the people. One should always choose to step in the gap, to rise to the higher ground and better ground. Because it is incumbent upon a leader to make the better choices. Yes, you may be directed by the people. We know very well that the people who choose you. But that does not stop you from having the good judgment, the good sense, to realize that you can steer the people or steer the ship in the desired direction. Now, when you have no agenda, when you take to the stage and you cannot speak to critical issues, just the same way as campaigns are now taking place, you realize that I've had no person speak passionately to the objects of devolution and to the extent that we have achieved them, or even some of these leaders review some of the development milestones through the CIDPs of county governments. And even more painfully, when somebody like, for example, Council Murkomen says that it is improper to consider education when it comes to matters leadership. Now, look at it this way. For example, and not a question of discussing the person, when you look at, for example, somebody like Council Murkomen, he has got a degree in law and a master's in law. And then you don't want other leaders to have education, good education, a decent education at that. And the same argument on this same couch was fathered by Council Wede, a very good man with good education, and opportunities that he is enjoying presently is by virtue of that good education. So I think we need to have leaders who are more sincere and truthful, not just to the demands of the times, but looking at the future through the prism of reality. We must be made wiser by the exploration of truth.
Right.